Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. You know how much I like trading oscillators. In the past year, I've been focusing a lot on trading momentum breakouts from RSI. For example, recently on the daily, we found on Bitcoin that once we broke below this trend line, momentum started shifting to the downside. We find incredible entries both for longs and shorts when doing this manually. But there's a big problem with this approach. Realistically, I can only manage to execute these strategies doing swing trading using the daily, weekly, and the lowest time frame I manage to cover with this approach is the 4-hour. We all have busy lives, and even though I set up alerts whenever I place these trend lines, you know how many times I have mentioned in the channel that the actual breakout from a pattern like this happened precisely when I was sleeping or sometimes when I was just busy. I get the emails, but I don't have everything ready to react to those things. So wouldn't it be amazing if we were able to automate this sort of strategies? In this video, I'm going to show you two indicators. One indicator is open source, third party, that seems to be really good for breakouts from RSI. And I'm also going to show you a new premium indicator that I'm adding to the VIP members in the channel. If we get over 3,000 views in this video, leave a comment down below, and once we get over 100 comments, I'm going to pick manually the best comment. Your comment has to do with what you think about trading using RSI. The best comment is going to win 6 months of VIP subscription. And of course, that's going to include all the VIP indicators that we're going to show during this video. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell, and do not go anywhere without leaving a like and that comment down below. The first indicator that I really like for breakouts, it's called the trend lines with breakouts. This one is built by Juan Getty, and you can find it in this page. It's actually very useful, and it also comes with alerts. It's open source, so you can modify it and integrate it for automation in your own bot setups. In the past, I have covered this indicator in some live streams, and I have shown you how to integrate it in backtesting. You can find a link to that video appearing in the right corner of this video now. The parameters of this indicator are very basic and simple to use. You have a look-back range. The larger you make this number, you're gonna get trend lines that last for longer, and therefore it's going to provide more quality breakouts, but are going to also become more rare. As it comes, this indicator is not backtestable. In that video I mentioned earlier, I show how to add 2 lines to the indicator to turn it into backtestable. Once you have it backtestable, you can connect it to any backtester and see how it performs on any asset using past price action. Although I have featured this indicator in the past times, I ended up not using in a real scenario. Many of the breakouts are really great, like for example this one there, but this one here ends up with the price going sideways and not necessarily providing a lot of benefit. Some of the breakouts are just very silly, and I find difficult to find which parameters to tweak here, because literally I only have the look back range and the RSI length to be tweaking things. Let me know in the comments if you know any setup that uses this particular indicator. The indicator that I'm featuring today is called the Oscillator Linear Regression Breakouts. It's creating a linear regression channel, and whenever the RSI escapes from one of the ends of the channel, it prints a signal, like for example here and here. As the RSI is evolving and printing new shapes, the channel is constantly attempting to match in the best way possible the direction. And before I show you all the advanced parameters and how much you can really tweak this and how you can integrate it into a backtesting setup, I will show you later how to integrate it with Absolutno to trade meme coins. The main idea of the indicator is extremely simple. In this case, I'm picking a period of 70 candles in the past, meaning that in order to do my linear regression, I take 70 candles back, and based on those 70 candles, I do a linear regression, which is a line that more or less passes through the middle area of all the values that are oscillating constantly. And then I put 2 lines spread from that middle channel by a value calculated by 2 times the standard deviation. Both the length of the period and the standard deviation is a parameter, or whether you decide to go for 1 or 1.5, that's totally up to you. Of course, all of that is going to have implications in the results of the backtest. There will be times when the linear regression is going to give you something like this, and the channel is going to look without any slope. This channel, as you can see here, is completely flat. I have a preference for not trading breakouts when these conditions are happening, neither to the upside or breakdowns from this kind of channel. I rather trading channels that have a big slope to the upside for longs or a good slope to the downside to trade shorts. And that is something that I haven't seen as a filter in any other oscillator breakout so far. For that, I included this parameter called the slope limit. This number can start from 0 to any number. If you set it to 0, it won't filter out any slope. But the higher you grow that number, it's going to become more picky, trying to find only breakouts from very pronounced slopes. Another parameter that I really like is to use the shift. This shift mainly is there to ignore the latest candles. So that linear regression, instead of being calculated on all the 70 candles, if we give a shift of 10, then the last 10 candles won't be considered to form that linear regression. And that is going to cause that the channel has a delayed effect. If we set it to 0, these 4 candles here are part of the calculation of the linear regression. If we start increasing the shift, let's say for example 10, then this latest move that you're seeing here is having no effect on the channel. And therefore, we're going to see more breakouts because the channel will remain for a little bit longer in the same position. This is critical if you want to catch those early breakouts. The higher the number that you set the shift, the more early entries you're gonna see. And the last parameter that I haven't mentioned yet to tweak the channel is the max deviation. As the price action is evolving, you're gonna see that the channel is going to be constantly flipping between being a very wide channel to being a very narrow. In that areas where it's very narrow, it means that you're very close to a shift in the momentum. For example, here is very wide, and as we are getting closer and closer to a breakout, it starts becoming narrow and more narrow. So for those of you to pay attention to these patterns, you have the max deviation. That max deviation is going to allow you to narrow down which signals you want to take. For example, if I wanted to filter out this signal here that was an actual fake out, the channel was slightly wider. What we can do is we can measure from the middle point to the first deviation, and we can see that it's got a width of 17. Later, the channel becomes more narrow and it's got 2 new breakouts. But these breakouts are occurring once the channel is slightly more narrow. It's 15.8 the width between the middle line and one of the deviations. So we can go into the parameters, and instead of using this at 100, which is bypassing the parameter, we're gonna set it to 17, and we already remove this signal from there. By the way, these bands are basically following the width of the channel, so in the future, it will remind you where the channel was being drawn at all times. That can also be used for breakouts by itself. I notice that it tends to act as well as a support. Maybe a coincidence, but also very useful. You can use the indicator for longs and for shorts to the right-hand side, and by default comes with RSI. You can also try it with MFI. You can use it with an external source. You can connect it here to whatever is available in your chart. This indicator comes included in the VIP subscription. Many people watch the videos and they say, I'm not willing to pay $150 a month for just a single indicator. At the moment, this indicator is not sold separately. It comes in a pack with all the indicators included in Picnic, which is a tier that currently is being offered for free. You can join Picnic and already get all these indicators if you go to thetradingparrot.com, sign up, get an account, and provide your TradingView username, go into the account settings section. I encourage you as well to connect your TTP account to our Discord server, contact my team. The link is also in the description. And with VIP, you get all the previous indicators plus all the premium ones. The indicator offers a buy signal, a sell signal, backtestable string that I'm going to show you now how to use it with Absolutno and what could be the performance when you're trading a meme coin. you can get alerts for buy and for the sell signals. So let's go to the backtesting. I pick a really crazy meme coin that in the past months have been up and down all over the place. So let's see how it performs when we are doing some sort of intelligent DCA, thanks to Absoluto placing the safety orders based on technical analysis. In this case, I'm showing you a backtest on the 15 minutes. Is just as an example. I do not encourage you to use the same parameters I'm showing you here. In Absoluto, I just went for the default settings and I changed a few things. For example, the target take profit, I set it to 3 times ATR. ATR is a measurement of the volatility of the asset, which helps me dynamically calculate how much profit to take depending on which asset I'm trading. SO placement is also an amazing feature. In this case, I'm using the average daily range percentage multiplied by half. I have connected here the Oscillator Linear Regression Breakouts, the buy signal, both for base orders and safety orders, and I'm not using in this particular setup any stop loss. This is quite a risky setup, and the performance that is given in the past 200 to 300 days is around 0.35 when trading on spot. I'm using these particular settings in the Oscillator breakouts. We're now going to test connecting oscillator breakouts into an external source and see if we can improve the performance even further. I have a new indicator here. This is called the Slope Vortex from Prism 665. It's open source, and as you can see, it's also an oscillator. The first step to connect it is to change the oscillator from RSI into external and then select the source that you want to use for the indicator to find the breakouts. In this case, I'm going to use the positive slope. After doing so, I had to change the slope limit because this oscillator behaves completely different and I wasn't able to expect that the slope is so big to wait for breakouts. You have to do some trial and error. I recommend that when you try a new oscillator, you start without having any filters here. And in order to do that, change this to 0, deviation to 100, and that's how you bypass both of them. Also, do not use a period that is too long, especially if an oscillator is fluctuating between going up and down very frequently. Numbers above 50 might never give any breakout. And that's where I find the most value in this indicator. It's so tweakable, and you can connect it to everything, including the price itself. I really like it. I find that it's a monster finding breakouts. And as you can see, we have almost doubled the performance from 0.35% per day. Now it's giving 0.62 a day. With very little effort, I have managed to improve the performance of the backtest using these tools. These results are just, again, to show you as an example. Do not trade this particular backtest. This is an amazing starting point for you to start exploring with other assets. Remember that I'm going to pick the best comment down below and you will get access to VIP, which is not just going to give you all this massive collection of Pine scripts, but you will also get many other perks that are included in the subscription. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.